Welcome to Academia EduConsult, a subsidiary of academia.com.ng, a one-stop portal that teaches you everything you need to know about the English language. In this video, we are going to be looking at the modal auxiliary verbs. We're going to look at the things that we need to note. We're going to look at the uses of the modal auxiliary verbs in all their forms. We'll look at can, what it is used for. We're going to look at could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, ought to, used to, dare, and need to. We're going to look at the uses of all these listed modal auxiliary verbs. What is a modal auxiliary verb? The modal auxiliary verbs are the verbs that indicate the mode of the speaker or the mode of the writer. The modal auxiliary verbs that we have in English are shown in the table on the screen in their non-negative form, that is their base form, and also in their non-contracted negative and contracted negative forms, as you can see on the table. We have can, cannot, and can't. We have could, could not, couldn't, may, may not, might, might not, mayn't, mightn't, shall, shall not, shan't, should, should not, shouldn't, will not, won't, would not, wouldn't, must not, mustn't, ought to, ought not to, oughtn't to, used to, used not to, didn't use to, need not to, needn't to, and finally dare not, and daren't. Now, what are those things that we need to note before we proceed? The first thing is that we refer to used to, need, and dare as quasi or marginal modal auxiliaries. The second thing we need to note is that we do not use mayn't. Instead, we use mustn't. Another thing we need to note is that we usually accompany ought with to infinitive. That is, ought is not used without the addition of to. The next thing we need to note is that used always takes the to infinitive and it occurs only in the past tense. Another thing we need to note is that we can use dare and need either as modal auxiliary verbs or as lexical verbs. That is, when we use them as modal auxiliary verbs, that is, they have the bare infinitive without the inflected S form, or when they function as lexical or main verbs, they can go with the to infinitive and with the inflected S form. The last thing we need to note before we progress is that the modal verb construction is restricted to the negative and interrogative sentences, while the lexical or main verb constructions can be used in positive constructions. Let's see examples of that as shown in the table on the screen. You can see the positive form and the negative form, the interrogative and the negative interrogative. Under the modal auxiliary construction, we have examples like he needn't go home now. That is the negative form. Under the interrogative form, you have need he go home now? That is a question. Under the negative interrogative, you have needn't he go home now? Let's look at the equivalent lexical verb constructions. Under the positive, we have he needs to go home now. Under the negative, we have he doesn't need to go home now. Under the interrogative, we have does he need to go home now? And under the negative interrogative, we have doesn't he need to go home now? Let's look at the various types of modal auxiliary verbs that we have in English. We have the can, we have the could, we have the may, we have the might, we have the shall, should, will, would, must, ought to, used to, dare, and need to. Now, these are all the modal auxiliary verbs that we have in the English language. Now, let's move ahead to see the uses of the modal auxiliary verbs in English. Modal auxiliary verbs have different uses depending on the context of their use. let's begin with can. When you talk about can is used to express ability, permission, and theoretical possibility. Let's start with ability. The examples on the screen explain the use of can as ability. The first example says, Shola can sew very well. I can drive. The lady can speak French. Now, when you look at can in these sentences, you will discover that they are showing ability. So when you have the ability to do something, then you make use of can. Another thing you need to note is that when we talk about can in terms of ability, it can also bring in the implication of willingness. It also implies willingness. For example, I can help you. Inherent in this sentence is the notion that I can help you in terms of I have the ability to help you and that I am also willing to help you. So can also include willingness, that is under ability. Another thing that can is used for is permission. We use can to seek for permission. For example, can I read in your office? Can I go with you? You can leave the room now. That is permission. You are using can to seek for permission. This is different from using it to indicate ability. Let's look at the third use of can as a modal auxiliary verb, and that is theoretical possibility. This means it's not a possibility that is bound to happen, but is a hypothetical possibility, or better still, theoretical possibility. Let's see some examples. Anybody can make mistakes. The examination can be postponed. The task can be done. The equation can be solved. Now, when you look at all of this, can in this context shows theoretical possibility. That anybody can make mistakes doesn't mean anybody or everyone should go ahead to make mistakes. Let's go on to look at the next type of modal auxiliary verb, and that is the verb could. We use could to express the following: past ability, present or future permission, present possibility, either theoretical or factual, and finally, we use could to express polite request. Let's go on to see some examples. Under past ability, we have the following examples. She could jump when she was younger. I could eat a lot when I was in America. This indicated ability that existed in the past, and that ability is no longer the case now. So when she was younger, she could jump. When I was in America, I could eat a lot. So could is used to express past ability. We also use it to express present or future permission. For example, could I read in your office? It could be now, or it could be sometimes in the future. Could I have my documents signed? Now, this reminds me of how students used to approach their teachers or their lecturers at the beginning of their semesters in school to get their forms documented or signed by their lecturers. One student approached her lecturer and said, I want to sign my form. And then the lecturer said, go ahead and sign your form, because what you have expressed does not give room for permission. So the proper way the lady should have said that is, could I have my form signed, please? So when you want to express present or future permission, you can make use of could. Let's look at the third use of could. Under present possibilities, either theoretical possibility or a factual possibility, we make use of could. For instance, we could see the president. The meeting could be postponed. This is theoretical, and it could be factual. We could see the president. In actual fact, we have what it takes, or we are in a standing, or we are in a position to see the president. But that doesn't mean we are going to see the president. Now, the meeting could be postponed. Given one or two factors, we may decide to postpone the meeting. That doesn't mean we are going to postpone the meeting. That's why we said could expresses present possibilities, either theoretical or factual. And the last use of could is polite request. Could is used when you are making a polite request. Let's see some examples. Could Mary go with them? Could you be kind enough to lend me some money? Could I borrow your shoes? Could I borrow your mobile phone? In all these sentences, you see could being used for polite request. Before we go on to look at the next module auxiliary verb and its uses, we need to note the following as we wrap up on could. Could is not always used to indicate the past tense, just as it applies also to should. That is, should and could are not always used to indicate past tense. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our video. See you soon.